Good afternoon, students. Our topic is inclusive education. What is inclusive education? The principles of diversity, equity, and inclusion, if embedded within the school education system, lays the foundation for access to schooling for all, a larger population joining the workforce, and opportunities for lifelong learning for all learners. The National Education Policy 2020 emphasizes that education is the single greatest tool for achieving social justice and equality, which has implications for the development of an inclusive community and society at large. In order for policy to translate educational barriers, facilities, and services for children with special needs must be addressed. The NEP has infused the aspects of disability inclusion throughout the policy document, with a dedicated chapter on equitable and inclusive education, focusing on issues, challenges, and recommendations for bridging the gaps, reducing the disparities in access and participation of all learners. The right of every child to education is proclaimed in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights 1948 and as well as in the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child 1990 and reaffirmed, reaffirmed in the Declaration on Education for All 1990. So each child is different with different learning needs, different learning speeds, and programming for education. Among these learners, some have more specialized needs than others, but the commitment to ensure their education too has been enshrined in Salamanca Conference 1990. Inclusive education is an approach that aims to realize the goals as stated in these conventions as an approach that involves homes, schools, communities, employers, and governments in ensuring that each and every child, regardless of his or her individual needs or social circumstances, has equal opportunity to get a mainstream education, together with the children of other community. As the name implies, inclusive education seeks to ensure that no child is excluded. Remember, as its name implies, no child remains excluded. marginalized or segregated. So it is clear inclusive education seeks to ensure that no child is excluded, marginalized, or segregated. And school is such a community to which everyone belongs, and that each child is learning what is expected to learn. So, inclusion is seen as a process of addressing and responding to the diversity of needs of all learners through increasing participation in learning, cultures, and communities, and reducing exclusion within and from education. It is seen as a process of addressing and responding to the diversity of needs of all learners through increasing participation in learning, cultures, and communities, and reducing exclusion within and from education. Inclusive education involves changes and modifications in content, approaches, structures, and strategies with a common vision which covers all children of the appropriate age range and a conviction that is the responsibility of the regular system to educate all children. So, every child has the right to quality education and learning. So inclusive education is the most effective way to give all children a fair chance to go to school, learn, and develop the skills they need to thrive. Inclusive education means all children in the same classroom, in the same school. It means real learning opportunities for groups who have traditionally been excluded, not only children with disabilities, but speakers of minority languages too. Inclusive systems value the unique contributions of contribution students of all backgrounds bring to the classroom and allow diverse groups to grow side by side to benefit of all, to the benefit of all. So inclusive education allows students of all backgrounds to learn and grow side by side to the benefit of all. Inclusive education means where children with and without disabilities participate and learn together in the same classes. Provision of inclusive education involving studies with disabilities based on the belief that those with disabilities should not should not have to depend on specialized services alone, benefit from educational resources, activities, and practices that are otherwise available to all. Inclusive education implies all young learners, young people with or without disabilities being able to learn together through access common preschool and schools with an appropriate network of support services. Importance of inclusive education. Children develop a positive understanding of themselves and others. Friendship develops. Children learn important academic skills. All children learn by being together. All children learn in different ways. It is every student's right to be included. Greater sensitivity, better understanding of strengths and weaknesses, and more tolerance. In our next session, we will study about principles of inclusive education.